Channel. I cannot believe it. I'm having more technical problems, but let's push on, and hopefully by the time I stop jibber jabbering, my phone's going to turn on. It's been in here plugged in now for like 20 minutes. I don't know what's happening. But anyway, hopefully it'll come to life. I really want to show you these really cute cards and how I put them together. These designs are 100% Jennifer Maguire, and I have linked to her YouTube channel down below. If you're a card maker or you're interested in cards, definitely follow her channel. She uses a machine like manual crank. Oh, they're probably electronic now, but basically dies, metal dies, and cuts cards and puts these really cool cards together, and I just absolutely love her work. And a couple of times I have Cricutified her designs into Cricut Design Space that I can share with you all. I just want to show you quickly as well, because I know a lot of people seem to have some challenges, but on my Facebook page, make sure you're following me there. If you don't know who I am, I'm Paul, Scissors Paper Paul, Instagram, Facebook, and on YouTube. But I just wanted to let you know, on my Facebook page, again, Scissors Paper Paul, there's a pin post at the very top with all the YouTube project links all pasted down below in the comments. So the projects that I'm working on tonight, they're already there. Some of you may have already cut them out as well, so you can craft along with me tonight. But if you haven't, by all means, you can go and you can check those out as well. That's that. And of course, if you like this video, as always, please, give me a thumbs up, give me and subscribe as well to my channel. I'm so close to 3,000 subscribers. I could only be like 5 away. So if you're watching tonight and you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do, and then you don't miss out on any of my content each and every week. Normally, of course, I go live on a Sunday at 11 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, but I've had some other sort of personal things come up lately, and of course then I had technical problems when I was supposed to go live on Sunday afternoon. Also, just so you know, tonight I'm here for Cricut for Australians, so every Thursday night, normally we go live at 7 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, just working through a project or sharing our knowledge and expertise with you guys so that you can ultimately make beautiful things. So my phone is still dead, but we'll keep pushing ahead. Let's check the comments. Hey, Mummy Guide Incorporated, welcome. Thanks for joining us. Sui's here as well. Janet's here. There's lots of you on here tonight. Julian, loving that your 8-year-old loves the music. I think there's a few kids out there that enjoy dancing along, which I love. Also, please excuse my band-aid. Old man problems, putting towels away and caught the top of my hand on the top of the cupboard and, scraped skin off, and we don't heal like we used to, do we? I need some of that youthfulness. Awesome. Okay. So lots of people here. Good evening to you, Karen. Glad that you're catching me live as well. Of course, this will be available on the replay. If you're new to my channel as well, type new in the comments so I get to meet you. Hey, Daryl, and hey, Michelle Murphy. Hello, hello, in big capital letters. Great to have you here. All right, well, let's get started. And we'll hope that we can just muddle through and everything's going to be amazing and you'll be able to see everything sort of in front of me anyway. The other thing I just want to mention quickly, if you use vinyl, and you may not have known, but Cricut at Costco, they have both the premium permanent and premium removable in white and black and bulk packs. So just to give you an idea, you get 6 of these in a pack. This is roughly 30 centimeters. Look at me being all metric. 30 centimeters by 4.5 meters. So lovely, big, thick tube. If my schoolboy maths has done me proud, if you look at it by 30 by 30 centimeter sheets, you get about 27 sheets in total, and it'll be less than $1.80 or about $1.88 a sheet. So it works out really, really affordable, and a lot of people don't even know that you can get that. So the black and the white in the bulk at Costco, and they have transfer tape as well. So check that out. All right, so this is a card that we're going to make tonight. So it is a birthday card. This one, if my sister's watching, happy birthday, Stevie, for Sunday. This is actually her card. And or if not this specific one, the other one that we're going to make tonight. And what's so great about it is, of course, it's nice and flat, so you can mail it easily. But when we open it, it has this really cool kind of window shelf effect. You can see the butterflies also moving there, and it has a heart which is kind of floating. So that's the side view. So you could sit it on, on a shelf. or on your desk or somewhere. And yeah, super cute. If you're a stamper as well, of course, you could stamp a really nice sentiment and you could use your dies to cut that out, or you could get Cricut to write happy birthday or whatever the sentiment is, and you could cut that out as well, and you could copy that, you could pop that over the butterfly. I think that would be really cute, and there's plenty of room down. So anyway, that is one of the cards, and we're going to do another one as well, another version. Again, the link to the other project is now also in that pinned post on Facebook. They both have envelopes as well. We're going to put one together tonight, so a nice little cute envelope with a liner in there too. So I've tested those and they fit. So again, nice and easy to post away. Let me look at my phone, still dead. Thanks, Mommy Guide. I'm glad that you like it. Hey Mark, great to have you back again. Good to see you here. Mummy Guide Inc. saying, tech issues are real, but I pray they go away for your stream. Thank you. And you love Jennifer Maguire. She's the best. She's the best. Suzette's loving the envelope. Brilliant. And Erica's going for dinner. Fair enough. And I'm going to go as quick as I can because it's Lego Masters Final, which she'll be starting now, I think. So I want to try and catch that as well. All right. So again, I'm just going to push on. Hopefully you'll be able to see most of it. And I'm going to give you lots of tips and tricks. I'm going to go quite fast, but there's lots of tips and tricks I'm going to share with you with putting these types of cards together. Honestly, I think I do it better than Jennifer Maguire. She likes to kind of construct the boxes and then sort of, get her fingers in the middle there and try and sort of paste it, elements all together. I think I've got better ways of doing it. So I'm going to share those with you tonight. With the envelopes as well, typically I cut the envelope in cardstock. I also did a cardstock liner. Now this does make the envelopes quite thick, and I'm going to show you how to glue them together so that they actually close properly. If you don't glue these together properly when you're doing both cardstock, then you'll find you get really bulky, weird kind of flap trying to close over. The downside is though, of course, they don't really open fully, but there's plenty of room to be able to get your card in and out. So I'm going to give you those tips as well. So the one thing that I'd say with that, of course, with your liner piece, you might just want to cut that out of patterned paper. Links to everything I'm using tonight in the description below. This is all AC cardstock. The only thing I've included are links to like the pattern paper and things like that, because you just use whatever you have. Or if you want the details, you can send me a message in Facebook and I can certainly let you know. All right, so bone folder, again, I've included a link to this. Bone folder we use to get really sharp creases on our cardstock. So I'm just folding that over and then using my bone folder to crease. You can, of course, use your scoring wheel or scoring stylus depending on the machine that you have, or what, even with the maker, I sometimes use my scoring stylus as well. What I also try to do is I score from the middle out, and the reason being that if you start from one end and go to the other, you can warp your cardstock a little bit as well. So we're just giving those really nice sharp creases. And then the first thing that we'll do is we'll glue in our liner, and I'll show you the first little tip and trick that I've got. So we'll just fold the liner as well. I like to fold it so that my textured cardstock is on the inside of the envelope, just to give it a little bit more interest as well. I'll give it a nice crease. Sometimes with something that's internal, you might just want to fold it the other way and just give that a nice crease as well, just so it has the least amount of resistance. Okay, so now I just want to show you this sort of first trick, which again, I wanted to have an overhead camera and still can't do that. But the main thing is you want the flap, of course, to close. So what I do is I'll fold this over, fold the flap over as well, just making sure it's lined up in the middle so that they match up. And then, because what you'll find is you'll butt it up against this piece, but when you actually fold it, it's actually pushing. It's actually, I don't know if you can see that, it's actually moving this piece a little bit further down. And the reason being because it's that bulky cardstock, it's going to need to do that in order to be able to shut. So what I do is I close it as if it would be closed. Then I can fold that back using my tape runner. I'm just going to put some glue on here. This is the only thing as well that I can't. I say this all the time now. If you find these in the shop, Kikuyo, it's one thing I can't link to because Officeworks are no longer stocking it. I'm devastated. It is, hands down, it's the best tape runner I've ever used. So anyway, we've got the flap down, and then all we can do now is we can just flip over the other side. Some glue on here. You don't have to be too crazy because it really just has to stick inside the envelope. And then again, just pushing that flap down so I know it's going to close nice and flat. And then glue that other side down, and you'll see how it doesn't quite open up all the way, but again, you'll have enough room that you can squeeze your card in. And again, if you use patterned paper for this, you'll be fine because patterned paper is a lot thinner than using 2 sheets of cardstock. And then of course we're just doing the flaps now. Close those over. And here is our card, our envelope rather. So that's all really good to go. And this is the other size for the smaller card that we're going to work on tonight as well. So there's your envelope. Really, really easy, right? The other thing that you'll find in the designs as well is, and again, you can't see this because I don't have my overhead camera, I did label, there's a little, I can't see this, there's a teeny tiny little A, because I've actually labeled the acetate pieces and also the patterned paper. You don't need to cut those words out, of course. I accidentally did, out of acetate. So I've got these tiny little letters spelling acetate. So just remove those when you do your cutting. All right, so let's get the other components. And again, I apologize that we can't do the overhead at the minute. Hopefully, let me know if you're still following along. Hopefully it'll still all make sense as well. So we're going to put our little butterfly piece together. So we've got a few layers. We've got the base yellow layer. We have this pink little shimmer cardstock piece. And then we have the green on the outer. And again, this is what I've cut, and you can cut whatever colors you want. It's completely up to you. So I've got my glue. This is my Scotch tacky glue. Again, link in the description below. Little dots of glue. Oh, my phone's turning on. Yay! You get a little bit of wiggle room, but just sort of, press it up against those edges. Make sure that it's nice and flush, and then glue that down. And then we'll do the other side, making sure we're gluing the right side. And I just use tiny little dots of glue, which you'll see in a minute. And as I've said many, many times, my cards are still together. They haven't fallen to pieces, which is great. And now I'm going to fix up my phone. So give me a minute to do that, and we will be rocking and rolling. Now, if you're watching the replay, hopefully you won't be seeing this because I can hopefully edit it out. Turn my camera on, make sure I've got the notifications off. Yes, I have. Alright, so let me just get this organized. This is how glamorous it is. Alright, touch that, get rid of that. Oh, that's pretty much perfect. Get my cord out of the way. Oh, what a relief. Technically challenged, and hopefully that will work now. Suzette's loving the envelope, I'm glad. All right, so now you'll be able to see, yay! So again, with the textured cardstock, with the cardstock from AC, it is a textured side and a smooth side. So I like to always have my textured side on the top, and that just gives it a little bit more interest. And this is where you'll see me just do teeny, tiny dots of glue. So the Craft Online sell the Scotch tacky glue, as does Riot Online, and I just put it into one of these fine tip applicator bottles, which you can find on Amazon. I did try to find an Amazon link, and I couldn't find one to the same one that I actually bought, so I didn't really want to recommend one that I wasn't 100% sure of. But I've also seen them in where have I seen them? In Lincraft. They had them, and they were really cheap. I think it was about $5 for 3. I think 3 little bottles. This is the only one I've ever owned, and I've had it for, I want to say, over 4 years, and it's going great. With the fine applicators, I've had this comment before, always put your top back on, otherwise the glue will dry out, and that is not a good look. I'll just, again, just sort of using my fingers to kind of push it up against the edges there, and then when I'm happy with it, glue it down. And again, with liquid glue, you get that little bit of wiggle room before it dries. And there's our pretty little butterfly. Isn't that cute? So we'll pop that to the side. These little bits. I do have dots for my happy birthday, but I forgot that off my other card. We've got some hearts here as well. We're going to embellish the front window now. And there's my acetate pieces. Now, if you don't have acetate, I didn't link that either. I should have. I'll go back in and I'll add a link. Spotlight were selling the Cricut acetate. That's what I've used for this project. The other day when I went to find my acetate, I couldn't find it. And what I did was I ended up just cutting off. I had Cricut leather, which has a plastic sheet on the top. So I used that instead. It was a little bit flimsier, but it worked fine. Now, here's another little trick for you. Before we fold the score lines on this piece, I'm actually going to glue down my butterfly, my patterned paper, and I'll show you why in a minute. So again, I'm just using my liquid glue, just some blobs here and there. And then just match up your circle basically. Just make sure if it's directional, this is actually going to be my top piece. I'll do it this way so it's top for you as well. So my butterfly's going in the right direction. And just match up your circle. Again, with that liquid glue, you do have a little bit of wiggle room. Just remember it is a circle, so you need to make sure you line up the sides and the top as well. But I'm happy with that, so I'm going to glue that down. And then I just had this little frame that I cut out of the same yellow. When I cut out my butterfly, I just moved into the center of the circle, so I didn't waste any cardstock. And again, just some little dots of glue. And then I'll show you why we did this now and not once we've scored it. And I can tell you this because I didn't do this for the first one, and I wish I had. So again, just popping that down there, lining up the circle. It's the same size, and we'll just glue that down. And that just creates a nice little window effect for to frame our butterfly and our floating heart. Just checking your comments, make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, Tammy's new. Let us know where you're from, Tammy. Thanks for watching. Oh, Kelly's new. Lots of newbies. Let us know where you're from. Karen's saying that she managed to get Kikuyo tape from Bunbogu online. Yeah, I think I saw that as well. I've got a few refills at the moment, thankfully, but I'm definitely going to have to try and work something out. I don't know what. I'm actually thinking of contacting the actual manufacturer and saying, hey, what are you doing? Have you got any other stockists in Australia? Because it's ridiculous. So I saw some of those online prices and they were crazy. All right, so now what I'm going to do is we've got score lines at the very top and the very bottom. So I'm just going to fold along those. And then using my bone folder, again, going from the middle out. Okay, really good creasing here. You can do this with your fingers, of course, but the bone folder will really give you a really nice result. And you could use cardstock if you wanted to layer up the window. You didn't have to use patterned paper. I just like that effect. And the reason that I did that then was because, of course, once we've scored these, then this is, let me go to the side by side. Move it back a bit. See, now it's a bit looked a bit curved, and if you're trying to put that patterned paper on this while it's a little bit curved, it goes a bit wackadoo. So it's just easier to do when it's perfectly flat, because even if you pressed it down, it still wants to bounce up a little bit. So yeah, so do that first and then do your lovely score line. So they're nice and scored. Move that out of the way, and then we'll get our other pieces here. So this is going to be the main box frame. So again, just folding on those crease lines. Nice firm creases. Okay. Middle out. That makes it nice and straight and not on a funny angle. All right, now we're ready to do the construction. So this is the base of the card. All right, and this effectively is going to start forming our box that will put all the floating elements inside. So the first thing we want to do is connect this first flap to the card. Now again, mine's textured cardstock, so I want the texture on the outside so I can write on the smooth side. So again, I want to match that with the frame. So this is also textured side out. Now, if you've got a Cricut mat, this is really useful because you can line up your lines. Excuse my head getting in the way there. And then what we're going to do is we'll put some glue on here. You could also use liquid glue for this, but I'm just going to use tape runner. Okay, I'm going to butt those right up against each other. Okay, and then glue that down. Okay, so now you can see our card is starting to take shape. All right, so this is where I do things a little bit differently. So Jennifer Maguire, she constructs this and then she, very carefully glues everything onto the center. What I do is I kind of go from the outside sort of to the inside, okay? This will make more sense as we go through. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my acetate piece and I'm going to try and find, there they are, my little score lines. This actually, acetate scores really well, really, really well. Look how sharp that is. You see, try and show you, it goes really, really sharp. So score those nicely and evenly as well. And definitely do a finger press with these ones. And get the other one. There we go. If you do get the Cricut acetate as well, it does have a film on both sides just to keep it all nice and fingerprint free and so forth. So make sure you peel those off as well before you cut or before you use it. Okay, so I'm happy with this. So this is going to go effectively smack bang in the middle here. So we want it to be right in the middle where it's going to hold the heart and right in the middle of our frame piece here. So I'm going to use double-sided tape. Now this is just from Spotlight as well. I didn't link to this either. It's Papercraft, I think. So yeah, just use this. What I'm going to do though is I'm actually going to not remove the release paper from both sides. So the reason I'm doing that is because it's really strong double-sided tape, and it's going to mean that it's going to hold the acetate really, really well. So I'm just going to flip this a little bit around the other way because I want to stick it on from the other side. So I'm just putting that glue tape, butting it right up against that fold, and then I'm going to use my lines on my mat to work out where I want it, and right in the middle there. Sorry, I'm going to get my fat head in the way again, and I'm going to pop it right there, and we'll stick that down. Okay, now this is where it's going to get a little bit technical. But I'm going to leave that release paper on there because otherwise it'll be sticky on the other side, right? So that's going to keep it nice and firmly in place. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to glue it to the top, but we're going to be a little bit clever with it. So once again, I'm going to take some of my double-sided tape, and I will also just stick that underneath, buttered right up against the fold. Okay. Now, ultimately with these types of cards, we want them to be able to fold flat. And the best way to do that, rather than trying to muck around and glue these pieces internally, is to get a little bit clever, okay? Now, this is, what we're going to do is we're going to lie it flat all the way along here. We're going to straighten out our fold lines here. And then we're just going to fold down the lid, or that top piece of our box. And what will happen is now it is stuck perfectly in the middle there. Can you see that? And it's perfectly positioned, and we know now that our card is, when we close it, is going to close flat. Yeah. So that's the little trick, and we're going to continue that kind of process as we go through. But first, we're going to add our heart element. So we're going to take our two large hearts. And you don't really have to do this with two, but she did, and I kind of liked it. And what she did was, she took some double-sided tape. And I'm just going to rip this now because I don't have to be pretty. And I'm just going to stick that on the middle here. Okay, and then I'll use my weeding tool just to take off the release paper. And probably actually should have done this before I glued this in, but that's okay. And then again, just using the marks on my board, I'm just going to position this what I think is smack bang in the middle, and just going to press that on like that. So that's stuck on the back side, and then I'm going to take this heart, and we've got the release paper going, the double-sided tape going over both sides. I'm just going to match that one up. All right, it's hard to do with not sticking my big fat head in the way. And then we'll just press that down. And there is our first floating element. Okay, take it a wiggle, 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 wiggle. There, does that all make sense? Let me know if you do have any questions. And then the next part, we are going to add the front of our frame. Now, again, make sure you've got the top in the right angle. So if your pattern paper is directional, you want to make sure, of course, that it is around the right way. And what we're going to do now is we'll turn this around slightly. Is the bottom of our frame, of course, is going to go just inside this part that we've glued on, and it's going to sit underneath this piece here. So again, very similar to what we did before, again, making sure I've got it the right way up. Yes, I do. I'm going to butt this right up against that other piece, making sure it's all aligned everywhere, so it's beautiful and square. I'm going to get my tape runner, okay, and I'm going to glue that down like so. All right, so now that's attached, and now we just need to attach this piece. Now again, you could glue along here and you could try and hold this together, but we're going to do the same technique that we did before. So we know that this, and again, when we're doing this, we know it's all going to come together beautifully and flat, right? Perfectly. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our glue on the top flat. So again, I'm just going to show you. This is what it looks like. We're bending that down. We're going to put that top flat. This does take some getting used to. Once you start doing it, it totally makes sense. But I think when you first start doing it, it just feels a little bit odd. So again, just making sure everything's lined up. And let that dry. And ta-da! There's our box. And we know that it's going to fold perfectly flat, like that. Yeah. Creative memories. Thanks, Tammy. I'll definitely check them out. So there we go. So there's the card, almost done. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add on our butterfly. Now for this, I am going to just put a little bit of tape runner on here. Now, when I did this on my other card, I think I put it up a little bit high. So this time, again, I'm just going to use the lines on my mat to make sure that I'm getting this nice and straight. I'm going to put it down a little bit. And hopefully that butterfly will just be that little bit higher. And you can see that's going to be our little butterfly piece inside the envelope. So this is really the inside the card. So this is really the only tricky bit, because we are literally going to sort of tape it into the back there. So again, I'm going to take some of my double-sided tape. You can use liquid glue for this. It will dry. I'm just doing this because it's going to be a bit faster. And then we're just going to put it on the back, right down the very bottom of our acetate. All right, so you see that right down the this is the very bottom of the acetate, and that's buttered right down the bottom there. And then, I'll just do this up this way. We will position our butterfly, and we'll glue that down. And then what we can do is just close it. Press, 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 press. And then, now when we open our card, there's our butterfly. It's hovering there. Cute. All right, and the last piece, super easy, is we are going to just embellish the front. This is a birthday card. Again, you can change the sentiment. You can make it anything that you want. So we're just going to stick this one on here. And then just right in the middle. It is edge to edge, the same size width-wise, so just line up. So you've got some of that background color on the sort of top and bottom. And then we'll take our happy birthday sentiment. Now this happy birthday sentiment, I did cut on intricate cardstock. Make sure you've got a sticky mat. Make sure that you'll be able to see the dots of glue much easier on this one. Make sure that you've got a nice clean blade, I would say not an old blade, and you'll get a really good result. As I said, it does come with a dot, but I've kind of missed that off my last one. I'm just popping that on there. Glue, 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 glue. Okay. And then we'll flip this over. That's right way up. And we will position it where we want it. Happy birthday. I did this in black as well. I just thought it would pop off the patterned paper a little bit better. And then I've got a cute little love heart as well that we're just going to pop on here. And again, you make this whatever card you want. It's pretty generic. You could do it for birthday. You're going to get well card, I think it would work really well. And then just making sure we position it just below the fold. And glue that on. And that is our card. Happy birthday. Ta-da! There we go. So that's card number one. Super, super easy. The next one I haven't put together. So we're going to do this one absolutely together and hope that it works out. I'm sure it will. So this one's a little bit different. It has the one element that's, really different. So this is a rainbow. Again, you can make this for a baby, birthday, whatever the case may be. This is just going to be a hello card. One thing that I did was I did use my debossing tool. Can you see that? And get that. So I debossed this. So if you don't have a maker or a debossing tip, you can just remove that element, or you could change it to pen or whatever you want to do. It also does cut a little bit of the cloud at the bottom, and that's perfectly fine. It's the only way that I could get it to basically slice and work, because that is going to sit very much flush on our card. So don't think there's anything wrong with that. So let's put this one together. So this one should come together quite quickly. The first thing that we're going to do, we've got some fold lines on our main piece here. So once again, we're going to finger press and then get our bone folder and press those down nicely. Sue's liking that card. Tammy, you're in Bris Vegas. I was just in Bris Vegas. My family are up there. Love Brisbane. I wish I was in Brisbane now. It's freezing in Melbourne. Okay, so we've scored those score lines, and then we have some score lines on this piece as well. So we're just going to score that. And I want this for this one because I haven't done a layered frame. This is just going to be white. I'm going to have the textured side on the outside. So just be mindful of those elements when you are putting cards together, because there's nothing worse than putting it together and realizing you've done it wrong. I made a box card one day for a very dear friend of mine, glued in all the elements, all the little pop-up pieces, finished the card and realized I had glued the inserts sideways. So when you open the card, everything was facing that way or that way. Nothing was facing forward. So pays to just take a little bit of time and do it right. Rushing is definitely not your friend. So again, scoring these really, really nicely. And we're going to use some of the skills that we learned earlier. And the first thing we're going to do is we've got behind our rainbow, I just had this patterned paper, sort of looked a little bit like sky. So you could put blue in there, you could put a bright color, whatever you want. There's about 1/8 of an inch, so a millimeter or so around that. So again, when you're popping it in, just center it in the middle of that back panel. There's only one panel that it's going to match up with, so you can't get that wrong. I'll just pop that in here. All right, and that's going to be the background, our little sky. And then we've also got these little pieces. Now this is a really great card that you could do a lot of different things here. So there's actually 3 score lines here. And effectively what this is going to do is create a little, like a little stand that you can attach things to. So you could do this for lots of different pop-up elements, not just rainbows like we're doing today. You could really, you could do some really cool things with these. Even with this card, to be honest, we'd probably get away with one, but we'll do two anyway. So I'm just folding those. And to be honest, I'm not going to worry about scoring those. I think they will be absolutely fine. But we're going to use some of the techniques again that we learned on our last card to attach these really, really easily and perfectly each time. So ultimately, we want to make sure that they're kind of blocked by, actually, I'll put them both in, but I'm actually going to put them in super close together. So I'm just going to turn this around so it's easy for me to see. But effectively what we're going to do is we're going to butt up against that fold line. Okay, fold it out, fold this flat back, put on some of our glue. All right, and then fold it back again. And then we know that's going to be perfect. And then this is the part that's not going to make much sense until you see it done. But we're going to fold it all the way over here. And we're going to glue on here. And then we're going to close this flap. And the reason being, one, now we know our card's going to fold flat. But when we open it up, see how it's attached perfectly? The little box. And that's what we're going to glue our pop-up element to. So then we're just going to repeat the same thing. All right, so that should all go, and I'm going to put this one right next to it because I think that's what's going to work best. I probably only needed one for this design, but that's okay. I just want to show you it's good to see some things in repetition. Okay, so glue down, folding all the way in half, glue on that top piece, and then once again, folding it flat. And hopefully, perfectly. So we've got our little box elements that now you could put anything inside your card, your window card. Yeah. All right. So let's now construct our clouds with our look cute. And I really love these colors. I went for sort of pastel corals, oranges and yellows. This is our little rainbow. And again, I want the textured elements on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just glue these in the middle of my cloud. So I'm just going to put some glue down the bottom. It's a bit much. On here. Okay, and then I'm just going to pop this down as close to use my lines again to kind of get it right in the middle. Pretty much close to the bottom. So that's the first one. And then we'll do our next layer. Making sure we're gluing the right side, the non-textured side. Oh, I'm really heavy-handed with the glue tonight. So just dot, 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 dot. And again, birthday, baby. Oh, and I've glued it on the wrong end. Oh no. Oh. What have I done? Oh. See? The other good thing about this Scotch Tacky glue is it dries clear. So we actually want to glue on the textured side here because this has been glued on forward facing behind the cloud. All right, so hopefully that's making sense. See, it's all coming together. A little cloud, and then we'll do our last piece again. I'm gluing on the textured side. And glue that piece on as well. Okay. And there's our cute little rainbow with our debossed element there as well. Just give it a little bit of interest because it's white on white. And now we're going to simply glue that onto our little pop-up pieces. So that's pretty easy. We'll put some liquid glue on here. Just some dots. And we'll pop on our cloud. And I'm going to now fold fold that closed. Make sure it's adhering. Just butting it right down to the bottom there. Okay, so we want to make sure that everything else is going to close. And again, the joys of having liquid glue, you can wiggle it around, manhandle it a bit. Need some more. Try again. Let that dry a little bit. Vicky, you're in Melbourne as well. Hey Kerry, all good. You can watch the replay afterwards. We just almost finished our second card. And then we'll just make sure that closes. Yes, it does. All right, and there's our little pop-up. Little pop-up rainbow with the cloud. The next piece, of course, is our window, and we know how this works, so we're going to lie this one down, and we're going to attach the top piece by butting them all the way together. So we'll put some glue on here, and we will, my fingers aren't stuck, and we'll use our lines of our mat just to make sure that they are straight. And we'll stick that first one down. So that is the top, okay? And now, of course, we need to attach it to this bottom piece. So again, using our techniques that we've learned tonight, what we will do is, I'll just work out the best way to do it. I think we'll go down this way. Which way will we go? We might go this way, I think. All right, I will explain what I'm doing when I've worked out what I'm going to do. Okay, so we're going to go this way. So we're just going to put some glue on our bottom flap now. And then again, we're just going to position this as if it was card was closing. Okay. And there we go. So now again, we know that it's going to close flat, which is what we want. And then when we open it, or when your recipient opens it, ta-da! We've got the nice little window there with the little rainbow sitting in the back. And again, plenty of room to write your sentiment as well. So fold it a few different ways, making sure that it's all going to go down, fold nicely. There we go. So now we're going to embellish the front of this card. I'll just fold it again. Okay, you might want to put it under something heavy as well, just to let that fold. Now, I actually kept this little butterfly piece from the cutout of the other panel, the other window that I made, and I'm actually going to layer that on. So this isn't included in the file. I just had a scrap, so I'm just going to use it rather than throw it away. So I'm going to, again, just making sure I've got my butterflies up the right way. And this is just going to fit pretty much in the middle there. And then we've got our hello sentiment. Just blobs of glue. Blob, blob, blob. Blob, blob, blob. And we're almost done, skis. What's the time? Oh, we went a little bit over. Natalie will be live on Facebook for Cricut for Australians on Thursday. She will be doing, I think, something with vinyl. I can't remember now what she was going to do. I know she wasn't 100% sure. So I'm just going to glue on my hello sentiment. Again, I cut this on intricate cardstock. Not that it's particularly small, but just, and then I'm going to put my little star up here. And then we'll glue that onto the front of our card. Okay, so where is our card? It's sitting under here. And again, I'm just going to pop this just above this fold line. So again, glue. And we are done ski. And there we have it. There is our hello card. And then again, when we open it up, we've got our lovely little window with our cute little rainbow. All right, so if you've got any other questions, drop those in the comments and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Again, there's obviously the little envelope that goes with this one as well. So that will fit, which is good. And hope you have a wonderful week ahead. So normally it's weekend because I'm doing these on Sundays. Yeah, if you can watch the replay as well. And have a wonderful week and I'll see you next time. Take care, everyone. Bye.